on that intro. How's everybody doing today? Happy Tuesday. Um, about to get started pretty soon. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Tuesday, wonderful early start of the week, and looking forward to midweek, end of the week, weekend. Let's go. Anyways, hope everybody's doing good. And what's up, Dito? What's going on? Cool, cool, cool. So, like I always say, we're going to get started and it's action. So, hi, and welcome to the 17th episode of Cimifly Live, The Entrepreneur's Journey. I am your host, Cecil Williams. So, today we're going to be talking about the customer experience. So, now before every one of these lives, I do a little promo video where I kind of give you an insight of what we're going to be talking about and give you some examples and gives you some things that kind of build context and build the hype leading up towards this. But before we always get started, I like to say let's pay some bills, as they normally say on the radio. So today's episode is brought to you by Cimifly Live, a platform that was built to empower a community financially so we can make better decisions with money. Check out my Cimifly Live, and I believe I am publishing a an article called "School of the Hard Knocks: My Entrepreneurial Journey," which is what this show is titled. And I've already published part one. I am about to publish part two. It's a three-part series, just literally documenting my journey, my entrepreneurial journey over the last 15 years. So check it out, cimifly.medium.com, cimifly.medium.com. So check it out. So yeah, we're going to jump right into it. And today's topic is customer experience. So gonna kind of give you what the definition of customer experience is. And let me adjust this real quick. And then we'll get right into it. So normally I like to give three quotes and then we have some talking points and then give round things up with just things that you could do to have a better customer experience when you are building a brand or have a small business or a big business or represent your company or whatever it is that you do. So, customer experience is the impression your customers have of your brand as a whole throughout all aspects of the buyer's journey. It results in their view of your brand and impacts factors related to the bottom line, including revenue. That last part is very important because I do believe that the goal and outcome of most businesses is to be profitable. Yes, there's a mission, there's your vision and all these things, but your goal and the outcome of everything you do in between is to run a profitable business. Not judging or whatever, it is a process. Different people get to profitability at different times. I mean, if you take a lot of these big tech companies, some of them, even some of the biggest valued companies in the world today, are still not profitable yet, but their goal is to get there. So keep that in mind. Um, yeah, so we're going to get right into it. And the first quote, so as I make these quotes, and we'll just kind of talk about them a little bit. But actually, before we even get into this, it's interesting because I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts yesterday, How I Built This by Guy Raz. Check it out if you guys get a chance. And he was in that particular episode, which is, I think, one of the most recent episodes, he was interviewing the founder of Culver's called Greg Culver's. So Culver's is a chain restaurant similar to it's a fast food chain, McDonald's, I guess you could say Chick-fil-A or one of those places. And he built a restaurant brand, and I think today they have over 900 uh, franchises all around the United States. But he was saying something that when he opened his first Culver's in Wisconsin, he was across the street from a Hardee's, which is Carl's Jr. For if you are from California and you're familiar with it, it's a hamburger joint, and a one of these frosty free one of these Dairy Queen, sorry, Dairy Queen. So what's important is he said these brands at the time, I think this was in the late 70s, 80s. At the time, Hardee's was like the fastest growing burger joint in the United States. And Dairy Queen was like top three in terms of like revenue for fast food and that type of stuff. And when he opened this, he had been in the restaurant industry all his life with his family, but they put all their money into opening the restaurant, building the menu out, and doing all this stuff. They were selling custard and butter burgers. And interesting, they had no money for marketing. So he said when these companies were having lines out of the door, they had like three cars in their parking lot the first day, and two of those cars belonged to him and his dad. And it was it was a challenge, but over time, slowly, with anything, human beings are curious. They will come in, and they came in and they tasted these butter burgers. And he said his business grew exponentially because, I mean, he lived in a small community, small town with, I think, like 5,000 people, exponentially because these customers started telling other customers about his business. And they gave examples of the same effect that two other brands within the restaurant industry have: Chick-fil-A, In-N-Out Burger, which is primarily in California and on the West Coast. So these are two brands, including Culver's, that if you ever go to a Chick-fil-A early in the morning, lunchtime, or at dinner time, they have their parking lot has, I mean, the cars are wrapped around the parking lot with people just trying to get in the drive-through. If you've ever been to California, and I mean, if you go and spend time with a true Californian, the first place they will ever take you to, which is like fast food, is In-N-Out Burger. This is the power of these brands. And one thing that these three brands have in common is customer service. Their employees are remarkably nice. I remember the first time I went to a Chick-fil-A, and this was when they were in malls, and the employees were so nice compared to some of the other brands. I was just like, whoa, like, I mean, I don't know how much these kids are getting paid, but they're very, very nice. And Get Culver's goes on to explain that they spend 17 weeks building that culture to make sure that you feel a part of the brand, because I think customer experience and customer service starts with the employees. If you put it and instill it in them, they would give it off to the customers who will then become fans. So that's just something I wanted to point out and kind of build some context with regards to what we're going to talk about and when it comes to your customer experience. Now, the first quote is: the best advertising you can have is a loyal customer spreading the word about how incredible your business is. Shep Hyken. And this just goes to what I just said. This is how Greg Culver's built his business. Was he didn't have an advertising budget. He couldn't budget for marketing. So he made a great product. And then he not only did he make a great product, he taught his employees the value of treating people well. And as a result, the combination of a good product in the butter burger and also giving the customer a great experience from starting with the employees, people left feeling good. They left feeling good about the experience they had, not just the food. And as a result of the employees treating them so well, they told people, "Hey, I went to this fabulous place." When you go to the people are always smiling, and it's like, "Well, is the food good?" Yes, the food is great, but maybe some people might be raving about the employees. But at the end of the day, your customers become your fans, and the fastest way for a business to grow is by word of mouth. And that's how most great businesses end up becoming what they are. I mean, if you think of brands like TikTok, I mean, which is the new phenomenon today. I mean, I'm on IG, but I mean, it's not because TikTok just spends a lot of money on ads. People get on it, they get an experience, they connect with it, and then they tell you, "Hey, are you on this?" That's how we found out about Snapchat and all these other apps. Someone told us in college, "Hey, are you on Facebook? Are you on MySpace?" It's not, I mean, it's not ads. Most of this came from customers spreading the gospel. The next is quality in a service or product is not what you put into it. It's what your customer gets out of it. Peter Drucker. And this goes back to just exactly what I'm saying. So you can have the best product. I mean, you can make things that you think are the best. At the end of the day, it's what your customer gets out of it that makes the experience great. So I mean, if I always like to use this because I think it's simple, not necessarily an easy example, but it's a simple example. The iPhone. The iPhone morphed from the iPod, and that experience revolutionized the way we communicate. It was simple until today. It is very simple. The design might have changed, a few, but the fundamentals of how you use an iPhone is literally still the same. It's the simplest, in my opinion, one of the simplest communication devices that's ever been created. And as a result of that, that experience we get from it leaves us coming back. I mean, it doesn't matter what, I mean, you can walk into an Apple store and they treat you bad. And I mean, relatively, you don't care. But ultimately, yes, I think that experience that they've created, the expectation that Apple has created in its brand is what keeps people coming back over and over again. And the next one is the first step in exceeding your customer's expectation is to know those expectations. Roy H. Williams, which is very true. And I think this is where a lot of people, especially small businesses, get stuck because yes, we don't have an unlimited amount of money to go ahead and do R&D to figure these things out. But ultimately, you have to know what your customer expects of you. You have to research. I mean, I was listening to something on Instagram today which said I mean, why people are not consistent with social media. People say, oh, I want to build a business, I want to build a brand, but then they're not consistent with social media. And he said, this is one platform that it's built free. If you cannot be consistent with something that is free, which allows you the opportunity to test things out, to figure out what people respond to, how are you ever going to build something, how are you going to know what the customer expects? So for instance, for me, yes, I have to admit I wasn't very consistent with social media. I'm a very early adopter of social media. When social media platforms come out, I figure it out, try everything and all that type of stuff. But even with Instagram and social media, I was off of it for 5 years, came back on, started the whole process again, and I wasn't very consistent. But then consistency doesn't mean showing up every single hour of the day and listen. I mean, it's organization, it's time management. But over the last few months, ever since I started doing these lives, I figured out a consistent way for me to do things. And I've been testing things. I've been testing the times I go live. I've been testing the frequency of my lives and things of that nature. And as a result of that, I figured certain things out. So before every live, I do a promo. Those promos I get to put out. And between the combination of making that promo as a reel, the combination of the timing of when I post it and the hashtags that I use, my promos relative to me having 1,000 followers goes viral. I've had videos and reels that I put out that have 4 to 7,000 views. I have 1,000 followers. I mean, so it's the combination of those things that you consistently keep testing because I show up every week. Every week you can expect at least 2 videos from me. On Monday, a promo video, on Tuesday, a live. I don't have to go on my IG. I don't have to even show up on my IG ever again for the rest of the week if I've done that. I mean, I do because that's how I learn. That's how I get to keep as rappers would say, keep your ears to the streets. That's how you get to actually figure out what the customer wants because you get to understand the customer's expectations. Thanks, Dido, man. Appreciate it. You get to understand the customer's expectations. And the only way you do that is by getting to know what they want. So you get, when people comment, I put these videos on multiple platforms, on WhatsApp, on this and that. And people say, I like this. Can you send me this video? Can you do that? I'm getting to understand what people truly want and they need. And as a result of that, I am slowly figuring things out, tinkering things, and I'm saying I'm slowly becoming consistent at what I do because I am meeting my customers' expectations. With time, people will say, hey, I like this. I expect this every time now. And if your customer expects this, you have to deliver. So yeah, think about this. You guys let me know, like in your messages, DMs, whatever, what you would like to know. What do you think about what you do right, what you do wrong, and all that good stuff. But like I said, you have to build your customers' experience and they will turn into raving fans for your sales and they become sales agents for you. I mean, you have to figure out what connects, how you emotionally connect to people. Because I think with human beings, there's a psychological and emotional connection, and that's how we make purchasing decisions. I mean, at the end of the day, if you can either instill fear in people, if you can make them feel happy, if you can, however you make people feel. But I mean, think about purchasing things. It's not supposed to be, I mean, there's certain things that are scary. Buying a house, because this is not like, you're not spending $1, you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're spending your life savings. But it is the responsibility of that sales agent to connect with you, to treat you well, to make the process, to educate you about the process, or your realtor to educate you about the process, to ease your burden, your pain points, and give you an experience that makes you want to follow through with the process. So you have to understand how your actions as a brand and or as a business makes people feel emotionally. And once you do that, you're able to seal the deal. I mean, I've been going through this like with RD for 12 years. I always say the thing we found the most success with that we've repeated a few times, but I almost always wish we could just repeat 12 months, like month after month, year round, is when we do influencer collaborations. I mean, there's tons of brands out there that could tell you it works. We've done this firsthand and we've experienced it. And every time we do one, our sales, I mean, first of all, our following, sales, and everything that you could be related to leading to profitability and revenue, our bottom line revenue exponentially grows. When we did the collaboration with Kai, I mean, from a sales perspective, I think our sales jumped by 700% in, I mean, from the day before to the day after, and it continued on. I mean, it increased it, but on average for the life of the campaign. But that's because we knew who we were selling to. We figured out an emotion. I mean, there was an emotional connection. This is someone who was representing their country, and it was for the last time. It was during a tournament, which brings the entire country, the entire continent together. There was a lot of things that we figured out: right place, right timing. A lot of the emotional things, a lot of the customer journey. We figured out, and we understood the customer's expectations, and we were able to give them an experience that created this euphoric sense of loyalty and all these things. And I mean, for everyone, it was a win-win situation. For Kai himself, for us as a brand, for the customer, everybody was getting something out of it that benefited them. And as a result, created something beneficial and to everyone involved. So I would leave you guys with this. Like, always remember, I mean, I said in my video, my title was "The Customer's Always Right." And this is something I got from Nordstrom, where he says the customer's always right. If you treat the customer the right way, if you understand your customer expectations, you will build a successful business. Now, there's some things you have to get right in this journey, especially in today's world that we do. Storytelling. I mean, I'm so big on storytelling. I think when people say content, that's what it is. Storytelling. What's up, Yaz? We have to learn how to tell stories. I'll go back to Apple. Apple is a great company at telling stories. I mean, think about like the fiasco they create when they're about to launch a product. Like, they didn't get on stage. I mean, think what Steve Jobs used to do with the black turtleneck, the big screen TV. But when you watch Apple commercials, I mean, this is the interesting part. Samsung has way better phones from a camera standpoint, specifically, because I'm team iPhone, but Samsung has way better camera quality than Apple. But Apple makes these commercials that they put on TV. When you watch them, you're like, oh my God, I want to go watch. Oh, sorry. My notifications just pop up that the Yankees went to the next round. I'm a Yankee fan. So shout out to the Yankees. And see, that's a brand. That's a memorable brand. But yes, going back to iPhone, they create these emotional connections with their commercials that make you feel like, oh my God, I want to go get an iPhone. Look at how it shoots. Look at how it does this. But the truth is, the Samsung has just a better quality of a camera within a phone. But Apple makes you feel like, oh my God, I cannot FOMO, fear of missing out. You want to go have that. So you have to figure out how to tell a good story. Once you figure out how you tell a good story, you capture the emotional, psychological connection with your customer. And you have to offer good customer service. You have to meet the customer where they are. What's up, Chidi? Like I mean, the ease of use. I mean, if you take for Royal Dynamite, these are challenges. I mean, and I would say your customer service and your customer experience. One of the things that we've always made sure we did since we started our brand was great customer service. If somebody complained that something was wrong or something went wrong, we did everything we could to fix it. Hey, when we did the Kai thing recently, we shipped jerseys to London, and the customer says my jersey's stained. say no more. We have to ship them a new one. That's the L we have to take. I mean, this is something we have to fix. We cannot go like, oh, well, sorry. No, keep the jersey if you want. You don't have to mail it back. Do whatever you want to do with it. We'll send you a new one. Customer service, ease of use. You have to make it. But most importantly now, digital experience, omni-channel. As I am live right now, this live has been broadcasted on IG, it's been broadcasted on Facebook, it's been broadcasted on LinkedIn, my Twitter, and my YouTube. Omni-channel. You have to be on multiple places. Or if you are a brand, you have a website, but now you can sell on Instagram live. You can sell on your Instagram shop. You have to make the customer's digital experience very, very easy. But I will tell you a challenge we're facing. So the sweater, t-shirt, or this whole movement of free time that I'm wearing connects to a certain group of people. And crazy part is most of them live in Freetown in Sierra Leone. And we've had challenges of getting it to them every time they want it. So that's a challenge that we have to figure out how to solve, because at the end of the day, I get hit up at least once a week of somebody saying, hey, do you have some Freetown shirts in Freetown? No, I don't. So that's a challenge. I'm not too afraid or ashamed to say, hey, this is something we have to figure out how to fix. And we're working on trying to figure out how to fix that to make sure we have different means by which the customer can access what they want. Next is you have to provide a quality product or service. So if you're making a product, ultimately that product has to be of the best. If it's a service, if it's a coaching, consulting, whatever, you have to do whatever it takes to make sure. I mean, I'm not saying go out of your way and go crazy until you burn out. You're going to have parameters, restrictions, and things that you set out to make sure you do things the right way. But ultimately, you have to have a quality product or service, because yes, when you do all these things and the customer comes, that is part of the customer experience. That is then what's going to make you have raving customers. When customers buy things and what they get, the expectation they get out of it is what's going to force them to leave a review. It's what's going to force them to tell other people about you. Those reviews, they help. When we buy on Amazon, we look at the reviews. If you go, I'm somebody who goes on Yelp still. Some people just go on Google, but when I go on Yelp, I'm looking at how many stars you have and how many reviews you have for food. And based off of that, it tells you how good or bad the restaurant is and whether you want to take a chance on it. So just think of that. So I'll go over this quickly and then I'll end it. Storytelling. You want to get your storytelling right, because that's what creates an emotional connection. Your customer service, your ease of use, how you treat your customers, how you behave, how you're receptive to the feedback they give. Your digital experience, your omni-channel, whether it's, that's not for everyone, the digital experience will work, but we live in a world today where you need that. So even if you don't have a website, being able to come on live and talk and connect to people and people giving you feedback, WhatsApp. This is like a big way. In India, people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars selling on WhatsApp. In Sierra Leone, where I come from, this is how news spreads on WhatsApp. So all these platforms are a way for you to communicate with people, and you need to have the highest quality and service. Like, don't miss that step. If you miss that step, you're going to lose your customers. And when you give them a quality product or service, most of them will go telling other people about you, which is what makes them the raving fans. But don't be afraid to ask for the review. That loops the process up. Ask for the review, and as those reviews accumulate, when new customers come in, they want to know what other people are saying about you. If somebody says something good about you, boom, you won somebody else. So yeah, you guys let me know what you think. Send me a message. The feedback helps as we keep trying to grow this thing and turn it into something else that we're working on in the future. We'll get more details to you about that. But yes, I appreciate everybody who comes on. You guys make this worth it and help keep me on my toes and keep me consistent. But really appreciate everybody. Hope you guys enjoy it. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with anybody that you think needs to hear this message. I am not a pro. I am not an expert in these things. These are just going straight off of my experiences and what I've learned and what I've benefited from some of these other mistakes that I've made. So I really appreciate everybody coming on. Hope you all have a wonderful evening. I am going to go chill now and enjoy my family. Talk to you guys soon.